figured out who the neighbor around the corner is.
Oh, yeah?
I like him a lot.
Ooh.
He lets me talk as much as I want, is very simple, and has great plans.
Okay, I have to meet him.
Sure. Say hi. This is Metro PCS.
Metro PCS is in your neighborhood. Come say hi and get unlimited data, talk, and text for only $30 period. All on the fast nationwide 4G LTE T-Mobile network. Metro PCS. Wireless. Figure it out. Coverage not available in some areas. 1 gigabyte of high-speed data included. See store for details, terms, and conditions, and data management info.
Blog Talk Radio.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Danii Sno, and welcome to Somebody's Mama. I hope you guys are enjoying this lovely Tuesday, and I thank you for taking the time out and joining me. We are all about empowering the single mom. Okay, I'm lying. That sounded good coming out, but it's not really the truth. Honestly, I'm here to get you through the day. Like, people do not understand what it is to be a single mom. Unfortunately for us, there are so many myths out there, and we're going to dispel those myths. And I'm really here to make sure you make it through their next birthdays and out of jail. And when I say you've never thought, and I emphasize the word thought, of doing something harmful to your child without going to jail, then you're not parenting correctly, because no kid is that perfect. And we all want to pull our hair out, and we all want to put them in a closet, but we know that's not the right thing to do. So in those moments, I'm the person you're going to turn to. And talk to me. Let's hear what you've got going on about being a single mom and how your life has changed and how it can be for the better. I've recently run across some articles that really upset me. And that's what inspired me to do this. There was an article talking about things that single parents won't say because they're afraid their feelings are going to be hurt. My feelings? My feelings? At this point in life, it's not about me or my feelings. It's about the well-being of my child. It's about their future and how I'm going to get them through all the crazy things that are going on in this world without noticing that it's only me taking care of them. So when someone says that we're lonely and isolated, I don't know who you're speaking of. And if you are lonely and isolated, then, it's time we change that. So, that's what we're here to do today. And furthermore, every Tuesday at noon, I'm here to support you in your journey as a single mom. And people say, well, what makes you an authority on that? Well, first and foremost, I grew up in a single-parent home. That's where it all began. As far as I can remember, it was my mom getting up, putting on that uniform every single day, doing what she had to do for us to make it. And well, they say sometimes history repeats itself. And at this point, I'm a single mom, and I find myself getting up every single day, doing what I got to do. But would it be any different if I didn't have children? Do people without kids, do they not get up and do what they have to do? Do they not get up and go to work and pay their bills? I would assume they do. Otherwise, they would be homeless. So why am I any different? My time management skills have got to be better. Understandable. And I've got to plan a little further ahead. Understandable. But that doesn't mean I can't be the most awesome mom and just as great as a parent as the next. So welcome to Somebody's Mama. Today we're going to look at some of the statistics and numbers across the nation of being a single parent. And then I have a very special guest, my own mother, who's going to talk to you about being a single parent and talking about does it last forever, how to get through the stages of being a single parent. Where do you begin in the transition, and what happens when they get older, and now that they've moved on, how do you move forward in your life? So I'm very excited to bring her in today and to speak with her about that. In doing this, I found that across the nation there are 14 million moms and dads that are single. And I do say moms and dads because although I am a woman and a single mom, we support fathers too, because we know they're out there doing the best that they can for their children also. But of that 14 million, 80% of them are single mothers. Now let's dispel this rumor that we all got here by a mistake, that we were spreading our legs, having a good time, had a one-night stand, hoorah, hold on, pump your brakes. Because that isn't the truth either. 45% of single parents are from a divorce. Although only 1.7 are from widows, and an astonishing 34% of them have never been married. So, unfortunately, for those of you who have already judged us on the lifestyle that we live, this isn't true. We are doing the best we can with what we have to work with. And it wasn't a decision to be a single parent, but it was a decision to live our life supporting our child with only one income. So up next, like I said, I have my mother who is going to come in and speak to us, and I want to give you a little background on her. My mother was raised back when, being domesticated was the thing to do. She was the housewife. She was a military wife. She was doing all the things that she thought she should do. And then the tables turned, and she became a single mom. From there, my mother joined the military, and I've watched her become the strongest woman I know. Until this day, I still bug her. She wasn't even a fan of getting on here. She was like, don't you know somebody else? And, of course, I'm still screaming, Mommy, 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 and she gave in. So I'm very proud to bring her on. Some of you know her as Mama Rich. Some of you call her Gigi. Whatever your endearing term is, I would like to welcome my mother to the show. Hi, Mom.
Hey, Mimi. How are you?
I'm well. Thank you for joining us today.
It's a pleasure.
I know you're taking time off from work to give us your time, so we're just going to go right into it. So first and foremost, I gave a little bit of a background of you and your transition into single parenthood, but I want to hear it out of your mouth. So tell them what it was like for you.
Well, I'd never intended to be a single parent, first of all. That was not the plan. I married my high school sweetheart. He joined the Air Force, and I planned to be a military wife like my mom was, with a house, a picket fence, the dog, the 2.5 kids, the whole 9 yards. But that was not to be the way it ended. Sadly, it ended in divorce after 5.5 years, and thus I found myself being a single mom.
So what was your first step in transitioning into single parenthood?
I think the first thing that hit me was I've got to pay all these bills by myself. And so with that being said, I had to realize I have to do what I have to do to take care of these two little people, which was you and your brother, because you guys always looked to me when something was wrong, when your toys broke, when you hurt yourself. So I'm like, okay, they're going to look at me. They're going to be needing to be fed and clothed, and everything that comes out the mouth was mommy, mommy, mommy. So once I grasped that, then that's what motivated me. You all motivated me because I loved you so much and I didn't want anything to happen to you. I wanted the best for you. So that just meant I had to work a little harder. And that's what I did.
You absolutely did, and you have become very successful from it. I'm proud to say that also. I never knew that I was missing something in the household. Till this day, people are like, oh, you're so spoiled, your mom gives you everything. And they say sometimes they overcompensate for one-parent households. I don't think you overcompensated, and I definitely don't feel left out or any different from my friends in a two-parent household. Talking about maintaining that.
That was my goal. Like I said, being a single parent just means that you're doing it by yourself and you don't have that second income. And my goal was I didn't want you all to know, I didn't want you to have that stigmatism on you that you're from a single parent household, so you can't achieve your dreams, you can't do what you want to do, you can't excel in the things that you wanted to excel in. So I had to make it as much as normal, quote unquote, as possible. So there were times that you didn't always get the things that you wanted, but like I said, I made sure you had food on the table, you went to school, you were dressed and clean, and like you said, that way you didn't feel like you missed anything because you didn't miss any meals. You had back-to-school clothes, you had clothes at Christmas, you had clothes at Easter, you got an Easter basket. You did all the things that all your friends did, so it didn't make you feel any different.
Okay, and so let's talk about disciplining, because don't act like you didn't whoop me. I have my fair share of whooping.
Yes, indeed.
You weren't. Hey, I was a great kid, but discipline happens. Discipline and love, separating the two. Disciplining me, but letting me know you still loved me was something you endured, even though I didn't always agree on my punishment for what kid does. Disciplining your children when you're in a single parent home. Did you find that different than before when you were married?
I did, because I felt like I couldn't be the bad guy some of the time. I felt like I was a bad guy all the time, because I think I was constantly on you guys because I wanted you to be the best that you could be. I didn't want to be a statistic as a single parent, that my kids are just buck wild and they're acting this way because there was no father in the home. So I guess I could have been maybe a little bit harder than I should have been. And yes, ma'am, indeed, I wore your behind out. I got your brother, too, because he was the oldest, and I expected him to take care of you. But I always, at night, before you guys always went to bed, I always would kiss you guys goodnight and let you know how much I loved you and that your behavior was going to have to change. You're going to have to do better if you want a better life, and that's all I'm trying to do. I'm not mad at you. I'm not angry with you. I still love you, but I want you to be a better person. And I always got a hug and a kiss in return, and that made the spanking worth it.
For you, maybe, not for me. I do. I guess I appreciate them now. It was so funny because, you give advice, whether I want it or not, and that never goes away at any age, and whether I become a mom or whether you guys become a mom, it happens. But I can't imagine not taking those whoopings and being the parent that I am today. Because I was like, I'm not going to whoop my kids. I'm not going to do these things. And then they get to acting up, and then Lord help me. So I definitely appreciate them at the end of the day, but it's interesting. So now that we are an adult and we're not in your household anymore, you never officially remarried and, did those things. So tell me, how's it different? Did it last forever? How do you feel now that we are not there?
You know what? It's funny you should say that because I don't feel like a single parent now. I just feel like a parent. I've raised you and your brother. You're grown. You've got your own lives. You're doing your own things, and you're successful. I'm happy. I don't feel like it lasts forever. I don't believe it lasts forever. Like I said, I don't see myself as a single parent now. I just see myself as a parent. I mean, things change. As you guys get older, you start having your own friends. And when you become teenagers and you hang out with your friends and you have your activities in school, things that you're involved in, that's what you guys do to help you develop to go on to be the great young adults that you are. And then, again, I'm just single again, just like before I ever got married. I'm just single now. I'm not a single parent. I am a parent, and I am single. And that's how I look at it.
But we grew up, so now you raised a boy and a girl. So raising a girl, obviously we had the talk about having a period, the boys and the bees. When did you have the puberty conversation with my brother? When did you have that conversation? How did you explain to him what he was going through?
You know what? I don't think I really had that conversation. I think I sent him to his dad one summer so his dad could explain it to him. But I do remember telling him when he got about 13 and 14 that if he had any questions and he wanted to talk, that we could talk. And if for him to come to me for the answers. Don't believe what you hear out in the street. You know, if you have any questions, if you want to talk about it, do you know what it's about, come ask me because I'm going to tell you the truth.
And truthful you are. So they have Father's Day, Mother's Day, and March 21st is considered Single Parents Day, although it isn't as nationally recognized as the other two. Do you think it should be?
Me personally, no, I don't think so. I don't think I need to be given credit for being a single parent. I'm a mother, and Mother's Day is enough for me because you have to realize everybody that's a single parent or a single mom or a single dad, you know, it can be very challenging for some. Some can accept the challenge and some can't. And so I think those that maybe struggle with being a single parent, they might feel a little offended, but then you've got those on the other hand that say, hey, you know, I did it. I raised my kids. Give me credit for this. And they want the kudos. But me personally, I don't need that. Mother's Day is enough for me, you know.
So single parenting has, for lack of better terms, skyrocketed since your day. And on the internet, we have all these memes and opinions and voices. And yesterday, even on my personal page, I made a post because I'm kind of offended by a meme, and it says, you know, if you're 24 or 26 and you're still single, then you be prepared to be a step-parent. And at no point do I find myself, me personally, begging to be somebody's girlfriend, begging to have somebody come be a father to my children. And I think it's rude, and I felt like it was written from a very bitter perspective. What do you think that causes, you know, for future generations, and how has it changed from when you were, the stigma from when you were and where we are now?
I think, I don't know. You know, I'm old school. You know, when I grew up, when I was growing up, I had friends, you know, that got pregnant in high school, and their mothers took care of their kids, and they didn't have to raise them. But my mother told me if I had a child while I was in school, I would have to raise my own. And I guess that's what kept me from being so, I guess, promiscuous. Whereas nowadays, the kids, they, depending on how they're raised, I mean, they may have a kid and the parents are so happy that they have grandchildren that they raise the grandchildren, and their children, you know, they don't learn. A lesson unlearned will be repeated. So I think it has a lot to do with upbringing and maybe the goals of that individual. I mean, if somebody, you know, gets pregnant unintentionally and wants to go to school, then that person usually realizes, okay, I've got to not make this mistake again so I can go and do the things that I want to do. But you don't see a whole lot of that, I don't think, nowadays in this generation. I think that that generation is gone.
Understood. So there are a lot of successful athletes and artists who attribute their success to their single parenthood. I've got quoted from Jill Scott. She said, "I truly have a village supporting me. My son has godmothers, godfathers, grandparents, and so many others in his life who love him as much as I do. They're there for the both of us. I may not have a mate or a husband, but I'm definitely not a single parent." She definitely had the support of her family and friends. The support that you had with us, I definitely remember Grandma and Grandpa being there and spending time at their homes and, you know, meeting new friends through your friends' children, even though I didn't go to school with them. How is it important to have the support of the people around you?
It's very important, very, very important, because, like I said, when you're a single parent, you're everything. You're mother, father, doctor, friend, counselor, and some days it can be more than enough. And so you need that little break. So when you have grandparents and really good friends, neighbors that have children that are your own children's age, and you just need a break, you know, just to step away for a minute, even if it's just to go to a movie, to catch a show, to breathe, to catch your breath and relax for a moment. Sometimes that's all you need. I mean, it doesn't take a lot, but to have a support group is very important, regardless of who it is. I mean, being in the military, I had single soldiers that were male, and when I went through the difficult times with your brother, I would just go to them and ask them, "Hey, you're a guy. I've got a son that's 14. He's doing this or he's acting this way. Can you help me out? Can you give me some advice?" And sometimes they would just ask, you know, "Hey, you want me to come over and talk to him?" And I would say, "Sure." And they would come over. They would pick him up, take him to a movie, take him go-kart riding. And when he came home, he was a different person. So it helps to have a support group. And I think I want to say the bigger, the better, but it's not so much about being a big support group. It's about the quality of the support group, the people that you have in your life that are quality, that have your best interest at heart as well as your child's.
That's awesome. Well, I definitely appreciate your time today. Is there anything else that you would like to say to the single moms out there to let them know that, you know, it doesn't last forever, that you do go through these stages? What else do you have to say to the single mothers out there?
Continue to chase your dreams. Don't ever give up. And it doesn't last forever because your children are going to grow and leave home. Love on them while you can. Give them direction. Give them guidance so that when they do leave home, you're comfortable with the job that you have done. Take time for yourself. That old commercial, Calgon, Take Me Away. Always take time for yourself. Always, always, always. Hug on them, love on them, and just know one day they're going to be gone, and you won't be a single parent anymore. You'll just be single. Still be a parent.
Well, once again, I thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate your time, and I appreciate all that you have done for me. I wouldn't be where I am today without you. And, you know, your grandkids love you. And so we will hopefully speak to you again soon. We thank you for coming in. Ladies and gentlemen, that's my mother, Mama Rich. So like I said to my mom, there are a lot of athletes and artists who are making it, and the first thing they do is think they're single parents. Obviously, Kevin Durant is infamous for, you know, you're the real MVP, and now his mother has the movie on Lifetime. But there's also athletes and people. LeBron James was also quoted saying, "For me, already being a part of a single-parent household and knowing it was just me and my mom, you'd wake up at times and hope the next day you'd be able alongside your mother because she was out trying to make sure that I was taken care of. But all I cared about was her being home." my mom had a tradition on Fridays that we always had pizza, no matter what. Whether we made it at home because it was cheaper, or we ordered out, or she found a coupon or a deal. She made that our time. You don't have to have pizza Fridays, whether it be Taco Tuesdays or whatever day that you are off. Make sure that you take that time and you spend it with them. You don't have to do the most expensive or extravagant things. It's about being able to build that bond and spend that time. And for my family, it's Pizza Friday, and my kids absolutely love it. So if you know a good pizza spot, I'm always open to suggestions. I love if you make pizza. I'm always willing to try. But make it worth your while to take time and support your kids. I really want to thank everybody for listening. This is my first show. I will be launching my website, www.somebodiesmama.com. You also can always email me at Danii Sno at somebodiesmama.com. Please make sure to like us on Facebook. To send me a snap, you can snap me at Danii Sno. I'm kind of not always awesome with Twitter. I'm working on it. I know Twitter is the world, but my thoughts are way too complex for 140 characters, and I ain't got time for all of that. But it is lunchtime for my kids, so I do plan on making my kids a healthy lunch. People say I'm lucky because I get to spend this time and make them lunch, but preparation is key. So before you do anything with your day, make sure that you've prepared for it and you've set yourself up for success, whether it be spending an extra hour the night before or taking 10 minutes out of your lunch break to say, hey, I know I've got these phone calls to make before I go home, so you can spend the time with your kids, and you know that for dinner you're going to have or for lunch you're going to have. You got to prepare. My mom talked about planning. So I planned to take 30 minutes out of my day. Before I got here, I gave them a nice snack and told them, hey, kids, watch TV. I pray when I leave this room that my house isn't destroyed. But I planned on being here, and I hope you plan on being here next week with me. And every week, Tuesday at noon, my name is Danii Sno. I hope to hear from all of you. I appreciate your time. Once again, God bless. Go on and love each other and spread the love.
In 1803, a man bought the territory of Louisiana for 42 cents an acre. That was the greatest deal ever, until I made this one. Now you can get my jumbo breakfast platter for just $2.99. Take that, history. You get tasty scrambled eggs, 8 mini pancakes, a hash brown, and your choice of bacon or sausage. It's the greatest deal since the Louisiana Purchase. Sort of. The jumbo breakfast platter from Jack in the Box. Just $2.99 for a limited time only. Price and participation may vary.